This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and today we have someone very familiar with this channel through John Paz's interviews and my own interviews. Former WCW World Champion, former head booker or writer, you could say, I guess, of TNA, WWE, and WCW, and he was recently on the Vice series Who Killed WCW that wrapped up this week with the fourth and most boring episode. Vince Russo, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right, bro. How are you?
Good. I noticed you're showing off the pipes today.
Yeah, it's summer here, bro. It's summer. It's Colorado. I got to do a lot of outside work after this interview, so I'm ready to get the job done, man.
Oh, are you the type that works in your yard and gardens and
Yeah, I
stuff?
hate it. I absolutely hate it, but I can't find it in myself to pay somebody to do it if I could pay for it myself.
I just can't picture you cutting your own
Oh,
grass for some reason.
bro, I've been cutting my own grass once a week for my entire life, man.
So we just wrapped up this Who Killed WCW series. I believe you had, if not the highest rated episode, one of the highest, the episode 3 that was on you, which I will agree, by the way, that you were one of the in the top 20% of
Thank you. Thank you.
characters.
Yeah.
And the proof of that is people still hate you to this day. You're
Yeah.
definitely one of the greatest heels of all time.
Yeah, I mean, bro, people still believe Bash at the Beach is a shoot. No matter what I say, no matter how I lay out the entire night, people still believe that was a shoot. So you're going to sit there and tell me I wasn't in the top 20 as far as a character was concerned, as far as a heel was concerned. I will stick to my guns, bro. I will not backtrack off of that. I don't say that to disparage anybody else, but I think when you look at my time on an on-air character at WCW, I think I was definitely in the top 20%.
What do you think of Ric Flair as a heel? We've seen like the best promo legitimately of the year was that restaurant incident that happened with him. That was the most entertaining thing I've seen in wrestling. Um, what do you think of him, and what do you think of? I guess he's still considered an AEW ambassador. They didn't make use of the buzz from that at all.
Yeah, well, you know what it is, bro, and that's what a lot of people that watch these podcasts, bro, they don't understand this. Bro, a lot of the people that were in the industry, like I'm talking about the Bischoffs and the Cornettes and the Ric Flair, bro, they're still working. They're still playing their characters. And that's why I don't really get upset over anything they say, because I know they are still in the wrestling bubble. They are still in character. But the problem is, man, a lot of people listening to these shows don't understand these guys are still performing. So when I see a clip of Rick in a restaurant like that, bro, that's the character. They're still performing the same character they were 20, 25 years ago.
And you know what? You're getting some heel heat right now. Someone says nice shirt, loser. It is a nice shirt.
Well,
But
First of all, Keith, bite me. Second of all, do you think I'm bothered by you insulting my shirt, bro? Like seriously, bro, you really think you better up your game a little bit, bro, because I look at that and I realize you're a mark, bro. So come at me with something better, please.
the one thing I'll say about Ric Flair is it seems even in 2024, in almost every interview he does, he talks about being buried on Nitro that nobody even remembers anymore. And it's like he's reminding people of it. That was just a skit
It
on like
was
a random episode.
it was just an angle, bro. It was a way to get Rick off of TV for a little while and bring him back. That's all it was, bro. But they get stuck on these things. And a lot of it, bro, has to do with paranoia, man. You know, you're in the business. Wrestlers are the most paranoid people on the planet. So as a writer, you know, when you're trying to write something creative, when you got a story in mind and you know where you're going, they immediately think you're writing them off TV, no matter how many times you tell them that's not the intention. And Rick, I've told Rick the story for the last 25 years, so he either believes that I'm lying or he's just still working.
And I will say you had his son David Flair over more than David Flair ever was in his career. And I think there was more potential to that, but they just didn't use him properly in WWE.
I agree, and I think David was a great talent, bro. I think David knocked it out of the park. I think he was a great performer, and I'm glad, man, that I had the opportunity to help him out.
What do you think about the passing of Daphne, who was with David, and it seems like she was undergoing terrible mental health issues like a lot of people in wrestling undergo?
Yeah, man, that was just so sad, man. I loved her to death, man. She, you know, I worked with her at WCW, then TNA. Bro, she was like just the nicest human being. I mean, that broke my heart, man. What a sad story. But listen, man, wrestling has destroyed a lot of lives, bro. Some people can cope with the afterlife of wrestling, and some people just can't. I know she had head trauma. Sad story, bro. She was great.
Someone's bringing up it was ultimately the business side that killed WCW. I think this series exonerated you a little bit overall for the people that keep putting the narrative you killed it, because I've noticed since even guys that don't necessarily like your booking style are admitting now that it was going to end no matter what by the time you took over.
Yeah, I mean, bro, it's ridiculous. That's why, like, I'm so bored with it, and I'm so past it because I am a business guy. You know, prior to wrestling, I've owned my own businesses. Since wrestling, I've owned my own business. Now I have a podcast network. I understand business, and before it even happened, I knew it was going to happen. It was a business decision that they made. Bro, I guarantee you, Jamie Kellner, I promise you, he didn't even know who Vince Russo was. I never met these guys. They never had a conversation. Do you really think, bro, that the Jamie Kellners of the world were watching the show and trying to figure out whether or not creative had nothing to do with it? This was all about business, way above the pay scale of anybody in management, of any wrestler. And people that just don't understand that, bro, then they just don't understand business.
I heard Eric and Conrad talking about, if you hate wrestling so much, why are you still in the business? I understand that this is easier than a real job, and
Right.
it gets you money. You just
Right.
talk about your opinions and stuff. But you probably are like me. You probably don't like the current products, but you're still a wrestling fan, right?
Bro, if I was a major league baseball player or I was a professional athlete, and you know, I was an athlete, bro. Not that I was in love with the sport. I was an athlete, bro, because I was good at what I did and it paid me good money. So I handled it like a business. Bro, from day one, when I was in the wrestling business, it was a job. I wasn't a mark for the wrestling business. I wasn't a mark for the wrestlers. It was a job. This is a job today, bro. Unfortunately for me, you know, I've got 30 years experience in the wrestling business, and there are a lot of people out there that still want to know my opinions and how I feel about things. They know I'm always going to tell the truth. They know I'm not tied in with any wrestling companies. They know I don't want a job in any wrestling companies. I'm entertaining. I speak my mind. So this is a job, bro. At my age, which is 63 now, I'm not going to find a better paying job than this. So like, if you can't figure out, oh, bro, why do you do it if you hate wrestling? I do it because it's a job and that's how I make money. That's how I do. You're going to sit there and tell me everybody loves their job? No, bro, it's a freaking job. That's why they call it a job.
When you're in your house, you don't have to.
Right.
I know for a fact that you probably turn down bookings for autograph shows and stuff. Is
Everyone,
not, yeah.
everyone, bro. I'm just doing a booking, bro, July 20th in Queens, bro, because it's in New York. And bro, Hannibal, I'll tell you honestly, I throw ridiculous numbers at them because I don't want to do it. I never want to do them. And I threw a ridiculous number at this person and they said, okay. So it's like I've got to do this one appearance because the guy's paying me what I think is crazy money. But yeah, man, I always outprice myself because I have no interest in doing them, bro.
One thing that came up in this that I'm not sure how true it was, but Booker T in one of these Who Killed WCW, I think your episode was saying he felt the reason he wasn't champion before was racial related. We know Ron Simmons was champion before, but there were lawsuits, I guess, that Turner settled all lawsuits from what I understand, but there were racial lawsuits. You ultimately made Booker the champion. Why do you think he wasn't champion up to that point?
Bro, it's hard to say, bro, because I wasn't there, man. I wasn't there back then. I don't know. I don't know the mindset of the people in charge, bro. So like I really can't comment on that because I don't know. All I know is all the years I spent as a writer, and I learned this from Vince McMahon, bro, and it always goes back to business. Bro, if the company can make money with somebody, if somebody is a money maker, I could have cared if they were black, if they were Hispanic, if they were Japanese, if it was a female, if it was a Martian. It made no difference. We were in a business, bro, where if you could draw money, you're going to be on top. And there was never any question in my mind that Booker could draw money.
This person wants to know what's the worst fight you've ever seen backstage.
Bro, I got in the middle of Sonny and Luna once, bro, and Luna almost killed me, bro, to get to Sonny, and I will never forget that as long as I live.
This is something that you may have been around for. Ahmed Johnson says it doesn't happen. It was never reported anywhere until recently, but supposedly D'Lo Brown's claiming he beat up Ahmed Johnson in the back during the Attitude Era. Have you ever heard about this happening? Because it's
I've
weird
heard
that
that. I've heard that, Hannibal, just like you. And first of all, I'm still good friends with D'Lo, and I don't know D'Lo to ever have lied about anything. That's not who D'Lo is. But bro, I was one of the few that actually was a fan of Ahmed Johnson, and I always got along with him. Him and I never ever had an issue. So, did I see that with my own eyes? Absolutely not. So it's hard to say. But like I said, bro, I don't know. I've known D'Lo Brown, man, for oh my god, bro, since '95. I don't know D'Lo to have ever lied about anything.
as far as this WWE deal with TNA, you of course were 100% the most successful writer in TNA history. Now it doesn't even get a 0.01. I think it's been like 4 or 5 weeks now. It hasn't even popped the lowest rating ever, but I guess they're airing on WWE's streaming service now too. It appears there's some sort of deal more than I think that they just want to give this company publicity. What do you think is really behind this situation?
Well, I think it's good for TNA. And listen, man, bro, WWE, listen, I've been very, very hard on the product. Okay. The product, the creative, I've been hard on. Now, I have said recently it has gotten better. They are making more of an effort to tell stories, and it has gotten better. But all the time, bro, when I've been harsh on the creative, I have put over to the max the business side of things. WWE, bro, they know how to make money, whether it's the Saudi deal, whether it's streaming services, the promotion of WrestleMania. God bless them, bro. Like, they are a money-making machine. So you got to separate the two, man. It's two different things, bro. Just because they're making a shitload of money doesn't mean that they have good creative. That's not what it means. So, in other words, when it comes to this, it looks like this is great for TNA, but there's no question that WWE, it figures that they're going to make money on this.
Yeah, and I think there's more revenue sources than ever in wrestling is one of the reasons why it's considered more successful. Because I was at the gym the other day and someone just came up to me and said, "Why isn't wrestling as popular as it used to be?"
Yeah.
Someone that clearly doesn't watch the product, but like my father, for instance, he couldn't tell you any of the new guys. The last guy he'd probably know is John Cena.
Yeah.
So I don't think like overall in your era, people knew the roster in the Attitude Era. They knew the Hogan era roster, but now, other than the top couple, it's hard to know the
Yeah,
wrestlers
I
because they're
mean
so generic.
it's a niche product, bro. I mean, there's no question about that. Wrestling has turned itself into a niche product, bro. When you're going from 10 million viewers between WCW and WWE on a Monday night, and now you can't even do 2 million, you've whittled away the casual fans, bro, and it is just such a niche product. I mean, but they've capitalized on, like you said, bro, the deals that they've made, Saudi streaming services, they've capitalized on all that, and good for them, bro. I'm glad they're making the money they're making.
I don't know if you're familiar with Gabby Tuft, the former Tyler Rex. I just did an interview with her. She wants to be the first wrestler to transition and come back. How would you book someone like that if you were Triple H or Tony Khan?
Bro, if it was cool with her, I would book it as a shoot. Bro, it's funny because I go back and forth. There's an indie promotion here in Colorado, and it's called Rocky Mountain Pro. And I'm really good friends with the owner of the company. So every now and then I'll pop in and I'll help him. And bro, there was one point where there was two transgender wrestlers. And it was two men who became two women. And bro, I talked with these two individuals for hours to really get in their head and understand the mindset, man. And I had some great conversations with them. So to me, if it was cool with her to kind of handle this as a shoot, that's exactly as I would handle it, because bro, it's very, very, very interesting TV. So if she were cool with it, that's exactly how I would book it.
You're famous for getting Judy Bagwell over. Of course, Buff Bagwell had a dark side of the ring this year. He's notorious for having backstage issues. How was your dealings with both Buff and Judy? Obviously, you gave them a good push, so you must
Yeah,
have liked them.
never ever had a problem with Buff. I know the dude had his demons, bro. There's no question about that. But I never ever had a problem with him. And I once said, and I'll never forget, like the dirt sheet writers like ran with this. I once said Buff Bagwell had as much charisma as The Rock. I still believe that to this day. Buff Bagwell was a tremendous character with so much potential and so much charisma, but he had his problems and he had his issues, and that's what held him back. But he was, to me, man, he was a great performer. I mean, Buff is the stuff, was really a great performer.
Someone wants to know if you ever met Herb Abrams.
I don't believe I did. I don't believe I ever met him, no.
What do you think about Hulk Hogan now having his own beer after? I mean, I know it's business, but he was just appearing on Christian shows, and I know you're religious, being kind of anti-alcohol and saying like every problem in my life has been related to alcohol. His son has just had another alcohol-related sentencing, so it's a little contradictory, but money is money.
Well, I would say this, man, because I think it's kind of twofold. Bro, I am a Christian guy. Bro, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy a beer here or there. I happen to not like the taste of beer, bro. Like I've never liked the taste of beer. However, going back to cutting the lawn, bro, if I'm cutting the lawn in 95-degree heat, when I'm done cutting that lawn, once in a while, like I want a cold beer. And there's nothing wrong with that, bro. But I think it's a little different in Hogan's case when it comes to his son. The stuff that happened, whereas Nick's buddy got paralyzed in that accident and stuff like that. That is a whole other different story. It wouldn't stop me from promoting a beer, bro. I bet you if you did a poll of who can handle their alcohol compared to who can't, I bet you it's the minority who can't handle the alcohol. But to just have just have a drink here and there, I don't have an issue with that. But like I said, man, the issue with his son, that's something completely different.
What did you think about after you were gone from WCW for a while, Kevin Sullivan letting Chris Benoit leave WCW as champion? Because a lot of people will go on about your booking, but that seemed like a really unusual booking decision at the time.
Yeah, bro. If you look at the booking, the 3 months after I left, I personally don't think it was very good, man. We were on to something, man. We had a game plan. We knew we had to tear down the old house and build a new one. We knew that was going to take time. We were carrying out the plan exactly like we wanted to carry out the plan. And then, after the first 3 months, when I went home, man, bro, that's when you had the character, the dog, which was a friend of Kevin Sullivan's, and the booking all together. And anybody can look at the numbers, bro. Anybody can look. My first 3 months there, we stabilized the numbers. As a matter of fact, they were slightly up within the first 3 months. The first thing we had to do was stop the bleeding. That was the first thing. We definitely did that. We stopped the bleeding. We were able to raise the numbers a little bit. When I went home and you look at the next 3 months, they absolutely plummeted.
And the dog ended up dying very young too. I think he was a friend of Hogan's
Oh,
as
wow.
well.
I didn't even know that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he's been dead for a very long time. He died shortly after that. As far as Mike Graham, there's a rumor that when Kevin Sullivan took over and those radicals wanted to leave, Mike Graham threatened one of them with a knife or something. I've heard Meltzer say it. But how were your dealings with Mike Graham overall?
I never had a problem with him. I mean, I knew he didn't like me. Bro, there were a lot of people that did not like me. And bro, the reason that they didn't like me was because I wasn't a lifer. I wasn't born and bred in the wrestling business. I wasn't selling programs like Bruce Pritchard when I was 8 years old. I was a regular guy, bro. I had a degree in journalism. I was a big fan of television, movies, and entertainment. And I was a fan of wrestling. You know, I got my foot in the door as the editor of the magazine, and you know, I worked my way up to, you know, the head writer of, you know, Raw and SmackDown. And a lot of people, you know, in the business, the lifers, those that live in the bubble, you know, it's the old who did he ever beat? You know, the fact that I wasn't in the business for 20 years and I didn't pay dues and this, that, and the other thing, that they all held that against me. And I don't think, I never had a relationship with Mike Graham or anything, but I from the way he was around me, I think he was one of those people that just did not like me.
Yeah, I think he was one of Hogan's friends or something, is why he was an agent for such a long time.
Yeah.
Another guy that ended up killing himself. Sadly, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
As far as when WCW actually was closing, when did you find out and what was your reaction?
Yeah, bro, I wasn't there at the end. I mean, I wasn't there at the end at all. Bro, I only actively worked for WCW for 9 months. That's it, bro. Like I started in like the end of September, October 99. I worked for 3 months. I went home for 3 months, and then I came back, you know, working with Bischoff for 6 months. So I had a 2-year deal, bro. So I was only active there for 9 months. So when they were closing and they were doing all that stuff, bro, I wasn't there. I was home. I was concussed. I wasn't going out on the road. I wasn't writing the shows. I made sure I was collecting my paycheck every 2 weeks, but I wasn't there at the end, bro. So I don't know how any of that shit went down. And bro, I'll be honest with you. At that point, I could have cared less. I just wanted to make sure, man, they made good on my contract. I got paid the entire 2 years, you know, which I did. As far as what happened with the company from there, I could have cared less.
When you mentioned in that Who Killed WCW, you were concussed by Goldberg. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what was the reaction in the back afterwards?
Yeah, bro, the reaction was I went into that match and I had a concussion. And that's why I was wearing the hockey helmet to protect myself. And there was a spot in the match where Goldberg is supposed to drive me through the cage into the entranceway. So we got in the ring, you know, prior, and I explained to Bill, I'm concussed, bro. You got to land me in the entranceway. Please be careful. I'm concussed, bro. So sure enough, we have the match, and Goldberg spears me through the cage and right into the barricade, head first into the barricade. Then I would find out years later, bro, contrary to what he had to say on the documentary, prior to that happening, Goldberg told Conan, I'm going to F him up. Goldberg told that to Conan before that happened, and anybody can ask Conan, anybody can ask, can interview Conan, and he will confirm that story.
I like Goldberg as a wrestler, but I will just say, why would he confirm that story on camera and open him up to potential
Because he
issues? And we
because he
already,
yeah, because he probably forgot that he told Conan. That's why he probably forgot that little piece of business. But yeah, you can ask Conan, you know.
yeah, and he wouldn't admit to it, obviously. I mean, I've heard wrestlers say this about other wrestlers at the back as a wrestler. I'm going to stiff this guy,
Right, of
or
course.
someone will ask, hey, can you get some revenge for
Right,
me? That just
absolutely.
happens. One
Absolutely.
thing I keep forgetting to ask you about is, and I don't have any issues with Dave Meltzer. I agree with him on some things, don't on other. But they've made fun of you in the past for thinking that the Warrior against Goldberg would draw. To me, as a fan of both of them, that is like an awesome
Of
match that
course,
that
because
would have drawn.
Because these idiots are looking at match quality, bro. Like casual fans give a shit about match qualities. Casual fans don't give one shit about five-star matches, bro. They never have, they never will. Once the bell rings for a casual fan, they want to know two things. They want to know who's going over and what's next. That's what the casual fan wants to know. But you've run off all the casual fans now, bro. And Meltzer's the biggest AEW cheerleader, bro. And what did they do, bro? 500,000 fans they drew last week. That's how popular AEW is, bro.
One thing I don't understand is it seems like I personally cannot stand the CMLL and New Japan stuff. It's boring as hell to me. Maybe have one from each company over, but New Japan's as cold as it's ever been. It's at an all-time popularity low. How does he think that bringing in New Japan more and more people when it's not even over in its own country is going to help ratings?
Because, bro, that's what Meltzer has always been. It's all about what he likes. Bro, nobody gives a shit what you like. When I was writing television, bro, for any company, I wasn't writing for Vince Russo. I wasn't writing for what I liked. I was writing for the masses, bro. And that's why I used the ratings the way I did, because the ratings gave you a clear picture who was getting over, who wasn't getting over, who do you need to push more, who do you pull back on. You're letting the viewers dictate the product to you. Dave Meltzer has always been about what Dave Meltzer likes. Who gives a shit what you like, bro? It's not about you. It's about getting as many eyeballs on the product as possible. It's always been about that, bro.
Now, you booked the Hardys, probably the best they ever were in their career. In both of their last months in AEW, they weren't used at all, not even to put over other talent. Do you think that was a mistake? Just having like, let's throw Japanese guys on no one's ever heard of instead of Jeff Hardy against someone where if I'm flipping the channel, I'll at least watch for a second to see what Jeff Hardy's doing.
Well, bro, that's just because Tony Khan is signing everybody, bro. There's way too many wrestlers. He could cut that roster in half today and not miss a beat. So when you've got so many people on the roster, bro, now you're in a rotation, bro. You're in a rotation. My philosophy was, bro, what you got to get your roster together. Who are the guys that you are going with? Who are the guys and the gals that are going to be on the show? It's like the starting nine in baseball, bro. Who are the starting nine? Who's going to be on the bench? You got to know who the players are going to be every single week, because if you're shuffling people in and out every week, nobody's ever going to get over. The number one rule of getting over, bro, is your character needs to be represented on television every single week. You can't start and stop, because if you do that, bro, you're never, ever going to get the person over.
We heard months ago that Jake Roberts re-signed, and I know he hates you, but I know you're neutral and you're at least.
And I would love to know why, bro. Bro, I worked with the dude for about 5 minutes. I don't even remember ever having a conversation with Jake Roberts. So whatever his hatred is towards Vince Russo, other than, oh well, if I hate Vince Russo, I'll get over with the marks, because that's usually the hatred for Vince Russo. I'll talk shit about Vince Russo to get over with the marks. Bro, I never even had a conversation with that dude.
Yeah, and I wasn't bringing it up for you to respond to that, but I know you're neutral. And how would you book Jake the Snake? Would you just have him sitting at home
Oh
Or
God,
like,
no.
what would you have been doing with him the past few months?
Bro, definitely been using his mind, bro. Worst case scenario, being a manager and cutting promos. You can't sit a great mind like that home, bro. Like it doesn't make any sense. I think that was part of the reason too why Arn didn't re-up, because I don't think Arn was being used properly. Bro, these are great minds at your hands, at your fingertips. You got to be some type of a moron, bro, to not tap into an Arn Anderson or a Jake Roberts.
It doesn't make any sense, but let's just imagine that you could clean up AEW a bit. What would you do if you took over? Would you release people?
Absolutely. That would be the first thing, bro. Like I said, cut that roster in half and decide who are the people we are going with, bro. Then, if you ask me, all the shows work together. Bro, remember when I was writing, Raw and SmackDown were not standalone shows, bro. They were not standalone shows. What happened on Raw led to SmackDown. What happened to SmackDown went to Raw. Use the same freaking roster and go from Dynamite to whatever the name of those other two shows are. Make it episodic television, almost like a soap opera, bro. You need the thread. You need the same characters and you need the same storylines through all these shows, bro. Once they went SmackDown's one show and Raw's another show, I know why they did it at the beginning, but it doesn't make any sense now, bro. Have the same people on both shows with the same storylines and the same characters.
The other weird thing, and I hate to talk about AEW so much, but I'm just curious your opinion on this. The other week, like we know Rampage is dying in ratings, it's dead in ratings, and I see on the same night as a Rampage, they put out a picture that Mercedes Moné is in CMLL, and we always hear John Moxley no-showed every single Canadian event that they had. He was advertised for every single one, and they didn't use him, but he's in Japan. What do you think of them like prioritizing these people appearing for other promotions rather than their own shows?
Bro, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's why, man, I remember, man, when I was at the WWE, bro, and the wrestlers were, starting to become really, really popular. And if you remember, bro, Austin had the role on Nash Bridges. Bro, that was never going to supersede the WWE. Never. If there was downtime, then he could go do Nash Bridges. Never once did I have to write a show without Steve Austin because of Nash Bridges. Bro, the only time that ever happened to me where something else superseded the product, when I started working for WCW, bro, every single week, 5, 6, 7 guys were gone because they were working on Ready to Rumble. So my first, few weeks there, bro, there were some guys that were not at my disposal because they were working at Ready to Rumble. Outside of that, bro, no third party was a priority over the company ever.
And as far as who's a bigger waster of money, I know Eric Bischoff has the reputation, but I think Tony Khan puts him to shame. I don't know if either of them like you or not, so you're a pretty neutral guy to ask. Who do you think is wasting more money
Well,
between those
bro,
two?
I don't think, and I think if you asked him this, I don't think he would deny it. I don't think Eric Bischoff would have signed the checks that he signed if it was his money. I don't think Eric would have ever done that, bro. In a million years, it wasn't Eric's money, bro. So what did he care, bro? It's Tony's money. It's his father's money, bro. That is a totally different situation, bro. And I don't think there's no way you listen. Eric hates me, and that's fine. I don't hate Eric, bro. But I think if you asked Eric, bro, if it were your money, would you have signed the contracts that you did? I think Eric would be the first one to say no.
As far as the rumor of Shane McMahon possibly going to AEW, you know Shane McMahon. Is this going to happen? And do you think that would be a good use of Tony Khan's money?
Bro, this isn't about Shane McMahon going to AEW. Shane, what? Shane wants to be a wrestler. Shane wants to be the GM. Shane wants to work with Tony Khan. Bullshit, bro. If Shane is putting feelers out, okay, my guess would be he's putting feelers out representing his dad, okay, who could never be mentioned and could never be brought up, but who is sitting on billions of dollars by selling all of his stock of WWE and Endeavor. Vince is sitting on millions of dollars. Bro, this is about buying the company. This is about buying the company. Bro, this is the exact scenario that happened with WCW. Shane isn't fishing around, bro, to be working for AEW. Bro, no McMahon is going to work for anybody. This goes much, much, much deeper than that, in my opinion. And I'm telling you, bro, Vince is a he's a very revengeful guy, bro. He's a very revengeful guy. And when Triple H and Stephanie went out there WrestleMania weekend and talked about this being the era of Triple H and, putting Triple H over to the moon and never mentioning Vince, there would be no WrestleMania without Vince, bro. I don't care what he did or didn't do. Vince is the father of WrestleMania. And here you are at WrestleMania celebrating your freaking husband, not one mention of Vince, and Vince is sitting at home watching this shit. Bro, you don't think that's not going to light a fire under Vince's ass? So if Shane is fishing around, bro, it's not to work with Tony Khan. It's not to work for Tony Khan. The picture is a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, and I was talking to a New York attorney that said that Vince McMahon hasn't really had success starting stuff from scratch, but he does have success acquiring stuff.
There you go.
So,
right. Yeah.
So there you go. As far as your thoughts on this whole thing with Bret Hart and Bill Goldberg, as Goldberg gave you the concussion, Bret Hart did wrestle in WCW after, wrestled in WWE. He got a Lloyd's of London insurance. He wrestled probably at least 1,000 matches before that. Do you think that all of his issues are due to that one kick that he had his hands up for? What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
I think that one kick definitely altered his career, bro. I could tell you this, man, and I'm not one of the boys, bro. Like I wasn't in the ring getting concussed for 10 years, okay? Like, but I got concussed in the ring. And I got concussed in the ring a couple of times. And I could tell you, bro, without a shadow of a doubt, after the concussions, bro, I was a different guy. My mind does not work the same it once did. It's not as sharp as it once was. I'm not as quick as I once was. Those concussions, bro, really had an effect of my entire life to this day. So there is no question in my mind that one kick, altered Bret's career without a shadow of a doubt and had a long-term effect on his career. Even if he went on to do other things, bro, he wasn't the Bret Hart that he knew and that he wanted to be. So I definitely think that one kick had a long-term effect on Bret. No question about it.
I know you worked with Scorpio when he was Flash Funk in WWE. What do you think about this unfortunate situation that happened with him?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Listen, man, I don't get myself into these situations. I'm not at a gas station at 3:30 in the morning. Like, I don't when I read stuff like this, bro, like, with the Tammy stuff. When you read stuff like that, you're just like, bro, how are you putting yourself in these situations? Flair at the bar. How are you putting yourself in these situations, bro? I swear to God, bro, I don't know what it is about me, but every time my entire life, bro, I've been in a situation that was really not a good situation. My mind immediately goes into, okay, if I do this, this will probably happen. If I do this, this will probably happen. So when I'm in a situation that is uncomfortable, bro, I always think things through. I never just react, bro. I mean, my God, like, can you imagine if I was just reacting to things Bill Goldberg said about me? That's not who I am. I just don't know, bro, how these people get themselves in the situations they get themselves in. It blow you're grown ass adults, bro. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, and I don't think Flair is going to change because you still see him in interviews kind of bragging about his alcoholism. He hasn't accepted that it's a problem yet.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to.
He still brags about the women, and look how much all this cheating cost him in his
Yeah,
life.
yeah. But that's the gimmick, bro. That's the character.
I don't remember, or I remember hearing about it, but this fan is donating £5 and asking about the Blonde Bleep
This
project,
has
which I
no, this
won't
has
say.
not this has nothing to do with Vince McMahon being my filter. Guys, if you really believe Vince McMahon was my filter, okay, bro, if you want to be stupid enough to really believe that, all you got to do is look at WWE numbers before Vince Russo and after Vince Russo. That's all you have to do. Filtering Blonde Bitch Project had nothing to do with it, bro. He didn't know what the Blonde Bitch Project was. He didn't ex-nay the Blonde Bitch Project because it was bad. He didn't know about the Blair Witch Project. He didn't have a clue, bro. Vince knew nothing about pop culture. So he didn't edit the idea. He ex-nayed it because he didn't know what the frig it was, bro. So, like, seriously, man, you want to know Vince being my filter and how brilliant Vince McMahon was? You go look at ratings before Vince Russo and after Vince Russo, and then you come back and tell me the same thing. It's so idiotic, and I am so sick and tired of hearing that because I have given Vince props of where Vince falls into the genius department. I have said that over and over and over and over again. You give Vince a blank piece of paper, he could not write a wrestling show. That's not Vince McMahon's strength. You've got to give him a complete show. Every segment, every commercial break, bumpers into commercials, out of commercials, the hook at the end of the show. You've got to give him a complete show to look at. And then when that is in front of him, he can make his tweaks here and there. Uh, Never once in my time working with Vince, never once did I write a show and Vince say, no, we're not going to do that. Never one time. The Blonde Witch project was we did this parody because we knew how hot the movie was. Vince had no clue what the Blair Witch Project was. No clue whatsoever. And when I found myself having to explain it to him, I said, "Bro, forget it. Like, forget. He doesn't understand it. He never will understand it. Let's forget it and move on."
And I'll bring up the one of the mistakes they made, I think, over the years was never having that Daniel Puder Kurt Angle match. Would you have done something with that? Because they paid Puder all that money. People still talk about that to this day. And they just released Puder and they act like there was nothing there in hindsight.
Yeah, bro. Anything I could have done shoot wise, I tried to take advantage of because that works. Bro, why that works is because if there's something that is real to the person, the character, that's going to come off on TV as real. There's going to be a sense of reality. And that's when the audience is going to buy into it and it's going to be real to the audience too. So anytime, bro, I saw a shred of reality or shoot, anytime, bro, I tried to go with it.
And I've heard you say this, but the one thing I find so boring about Cody Rhodes is it seems like he's just reciting lines out there, and it's just him standing in the ring talking, and someone else stands in the ring talking. It's so boring, and there's no realism to it.
That's exactly it, bro. Because if you want to know what we're talking about, bro, put it in this aspect. If Cody Rhodes is having a real conversation with somebody, would it be like his in-ring promo? I mean, is that how he talks to people in real life, like he's freaking Shakespeare? Is that how he has a conversation with his wife? That's why I've said from day one, way before Taker said this, Cody is a heel, bro. Cody is a heel with the expensive suits and the stopwatches and his own bus and talking above people's heads. The dude is a heel, bro. He is an absolute heel. And that's what I've been saying all along. I don't buy this guy as a baby face, especially like you said, when he cuts these promos, half of the time you don't even know what he's freaking talking about. He sounds like he's trying to talk over your head. That's a heel, bro. That's not a baby face.
And it seems like ratings have gone down. I mean, there's been some spikes. The sellout streak ended. They've canceled some house shows since Cody has took over. Do you think this has to do with they're already promoting this match with The Rock at next year's WrestleMania? And it's like almost that these matches in between people
Yeah,
can't
well,
get into.
yeah, you know what? See, that's the thing, bro. I'm not going to blame Cody for that at all. And a lot of people will, blame the champion. Bro, their booking for Cody has been awful. Bro, he goes over at WrestleMania, he finishes the story, and they don't have opponents lined up for him. That whole time, bro, you should have been building heels, building heels, building heels. So when Cody wins that title, now he's got heels lined up. God, bro, they did that with Hogan. They did that with Bruno. We did it with Austin, bro. That's the way you do it. This guy finishes the story and they've got nothing lined up for him. That is not Cody's fault, bro. Cody is not the writer of the show. Cody is going out there and doing the absolute best job that Cody can do. But the writing for him has been atrocious. And yeah, bro, now it feels like exactly what you said. We're just going to throw people in there, AJ and whoever else, until we finally get to The Rock. And that's just really bad and lazy booking, bro. There's no other way around it, man.
Yeah, because I've heard John say, but the matches are good. But to me, why would I even want to watch the match
Exactly.
when I know the end? And I like John, but like to your average person, like I already saw him beat AJ Styles once. I know he's going to beat him again.
Right.
Why the hell would I want to watch this crap?
Absolutely, man. 1000%.
As far as Jeff Jarrett, I don't know what your relationship is now. You gave him the biggest push of his career other than when he owned TNA, but I think you were writing it during those periods of times. He's gone against you at various times. I did not like the Slapnuts character myself. I don't know. I just want to know, did you come up with the Slapnuts
Bro, I
word?
did not.
And
I swear, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like, I still don't even know what that means. It was over. I mean, no doubt about it. I think it was funny as hell and entertaining. I did not come up with that, bro. And I don't even know. I think he told me once, like, but I don't remember. But again, like I said, it was over. There's no doubt about it. But I did not come up with that.
Oh, I'm not denying that that people liked it at the time. It just wasn't as of my taste. But also for the honky tonk man guitar thing, I don't remember him using a guitar before WCW. Was that something that you and him came up with together, or was that
Who
his idea to take?
Jeff?
Yeah,
Oh
the
no,
hitting people with guitars.
he used that at the WWE, bro.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Oh yeah, because as a matter of fact, bro, on russosbrand.com, like every 2 weeks, bro, I go back and I review the Attitude Era show. So I'm watching the Attitude Era show now from like 97. Oh yeah, bro. Jeff was definitely using the guitar back then.
You famously used the Howard Stern Whack Pack, I think they were called. This fan, the Dave Kruger, one of the members here, is asking about Beetlejuice and Crackhead Bob.
Bro, it was awesome because I was a huge Howard Stern fan back in the day. Not today, bro, at all. But they were the real deal, bro. I mean, they were what you saw on TV, man, trying to produce those guys and get out of them what I needed. Those guys were 100% the real deal, bro. And it was a challenge, but it was fun working with them as well.
How was Scott Hall to work with, another guy that passed away really, well, pretty young, 60
Yeah.
something?
Bro, my experience with Scott Hall, bro, was I never knew what Scott Hall I was gonna get. You know what? Like when I show up at TV, I didn't know if I was gonna get a Scott Hall that was gonna be very easy to work with, or I didn't know if I was gonna get a Scott Hall that was just gonna bust my balls that week. It was difficult, bro, because I never knew what Scott Hall I'm working with, this week. And that just made things difficult at times.
And what about as far as history goes? How would you rank The Rock, Austin, and
Mm.
Hogan? Obviously, The Rock is more known mainstream than the other two, you could say, but he's not on the road like the like Hogan and Austin were. Where would you rank them as
Well,
like
bro,
probably the top
if
three?
if we're just talking wrestling, not Rock becoming the biggest movie star on the planet. Okay, if we're just talking strictly wrestling, bro, at the top of the list, number one, without a shadow of a doubt, bro, is Hulk Hogan. Bro, unless you were a fan during the Hogan era, you can read about it, bro. You can look at YouTube videos. Bro, freaking Hulk Hogan was pop culture. Everyone who knew who Hulk Hogan was. Hulk Hogan brought wrestling into the mainstream. Number one, bro, without a shadow of a doubt. And I would say if we're talking about straight performance just in a wrestling ring, bro, I would probably put Austin second. Because there was a little bit more to Austin's character, I think, than there was to Rock's character. Rock's character was basically a cool guy. Rock was cool. Everybody wanted to be the Rock. Austin had a little bit more edge, a little bit more fire. So I would probably put Austin second and Rock third.
And the last guy I'll ask you about is Scott Steiner, who they didn't really use too well in WWE after WCW, but he was really reaching his peak around your time of WCW.
Oh man, I loved working with him. I always had a good relationship with Scott, bro. I never ever had an issue with Scott. His promos would just freaking kill me. What an entertaining guy, bro. We really got to work a lot together at TNA, and never had an issue with Scott. And what a great town. That's why, bro. I swear to God, man. How you're not using the Steiners with Braun Breaker, and how you're not using the Steiner name, bro. You got to be kidding me. You absolutely got to be kidding me, bro.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense because yeah, he's Rick Steiner comes and manages him sometimes in NXT, but his last name is Breaker, and like to your casual people, how are they gonna know? Like he does look like Steiner, but like it's just anyways.
Yeah.
Where can people follow you if they want to know more? Where
Well,
can they
guys,
subscribe?
I'm gonna tell you this right now because I got a little special going on. If you've never, I've got russosbrand.com. We got a whole bunch of shows on that network, and a whole bunch of wrestlers are on there with me. Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat, Stevie Richards, EC3, Disco Inferno, Al Snow, a bunch of guys. We do shows every week. That's russosbrand.com. However, I also got Patreon, man. If you've never been a Patreon member, and you go there right now, you can get a free week of the brand. You can sample us. It will cost you absolutely nothing. So just go to patreon.com/Russo TWC, and you will get a free week. Sample the shows. If you like it, you sign up. Patreon.com/Russo TWC.
Very good. Always nice getting insight from you. And I'll just let you wrap this up with whatever you want to tell the fans.
Yeah, no, guys, listen, I've known Hannibal for a long time. I always enjoy talking to Hannibal because it's not it's not the same questions over and over and over. It's always different questions. A lot of questions on this show today, man, I answered for the very first time. And man, I got to tell you, Hannibal, one of my biggest pet peeves, bro, is these freaking mark journalists like who think they know everything and they don't know shit. And they're nothing but glorified marks, bro. That's all they are. To have somebody like you who's a worker, who has interviewed everybody, who has relationships in the business, who really ask good, in-depth questions, bro. That's why I enjoy coming on the show, and that's why I know you guys enjoy listening to Hannibal, man. So keep supporting people like him, bro, that know what the frig they're talking about.